So to put it to the real test and answer the question, can Flex Seal hold up in hurricane-proof winds?
Welcome back to Life's Sweet Journey, on the road one adventure at a time. Today's video is a little different as it has us checking in on the camper after Hurricane Ian hit here in Florida. This clip shows just a small portion of the storm we recorded when it was safe to be outside, but here in New Smyrna, where we currently live, winds reached up to 96 miles per hour. Those were the biggest gusts recorded. The biggest issue though was flooding. We got a ton of rain and there were really bad storm surges. This was actually the first time we attempted to drive out to check on the camper, and we couldn't get through even in our dually. This was as far as we got before we had to turn around and attempt another day.
We're here checking on the camper. So far, everything inside seems dry. We did lose our cover. It ripped right down the middle, but so far, everything seems okay. So at least we know it was a good thing we resealed the roof and that held up during the hurricane. We're gonna head up and check on it in a minute. So I feel like after a hurricane is probably the best time to do at this point it's been almost 1.5 years since we resealed the roof with Flex Seal. No better time than any to do a check-in because right before the storm, Babe had cleaned the roof. It's super easy to clean. So he cleaned off the roof. I'll show you how he did that.
He just went and got some turtle wax car wash and a brush at Walmart. You can also find these on Amazon, so I'll make sure to link them below. But he just grabbed these 2 items and I'll show you how easy it was for him to clean it. We will put his full cleaning video together soon and be sure to link that below as well. But he basically just filled a bucket with the car wash and some water and then used the brush with really very little pressure to wipe away all of the dirt and grime that had built up. It was super easy with the Flex Seal. It comes off kind of like that. Here is his finished product, so you can see everything cleaned off really well. It looked brand new again, like it did when we first resealed it. He did mention when you are applying the soap, be very careful because it is rubber roofing. It's very slippery. But this was what it looked like before we covered it prior to the storm.
But it's freshly cleaned. He put the cover on it. The cover obviously blew off, but otherwise the roof has held up great. I will walk it and show you kind of how well it held up. The cover is another story. That did not make it, but the roof definitely Flex Seal strong. So I'll start back here. You can see everything's still sealed. Nothing got in anywhere here. It was along the edges where we really had issues with water and little kind of pinprick holes in the original roofing. And so when we've resealed it, everything is still looking great. And this is, yeah, like I said, a year and a half after we resealed it. You can see we got one little spot there, so we'll put some more sealant on there, but otherwise the roof is looking good. This was our big hole. If you saw the original reseal video, this is where we had that big hole, and it is still very well sealed, holding up great.
Here is a close-up look at how the Flex Seal held up around the vents and skylights. These areas can be prone to letting in water, and so we are really happy with how everything held up there.
So this is actually what we were worried about in the sense of the cover, and we're pretty sure, yeah, this might have, if it was rubbing along this, probably compromised it, and then obviously the whole thing just split right down the middle. So no cover, but the Camco is still good. We'll probably put a little bit more sealant around here at some point, but the roof is, like I said, seal held up well, even during hurricane winds. And right here, thankfully, this is pretty high, but the winds were pretty bad and there was a lot of flooding, so that's usually not that full, but right now that has spilled out all onto the road. You can kind of see a truck probably coming to check their camper, and water's about tire deep. But thankfully the camper has stayed dry and the roof stayed okay. So good. This got a little scrubbed, probably when the cover was rubbing against it. So we'll put a little more Flex Seal here too, but otherwise that's not a hole. That's the original roof back down there. So you can see we just Flex Sealed right over it. We'll put a little more Flex Seal on here, right there, but those are the only spots that we've been able to find. And after a year and a half, pretty good.
The discoloration spots seen here and then where that original big hole was are just areas where there had originally been Flex tape before we took it off and then resealed with the Flex Seal liquid. They are not compromised in any way, and the Flex Seal is holding up great in those areas too.
Blocked the whole roof, no soft spots. He's down there bagging up the broken cover, but here too, you can see we sealed all the way up and over any of the screw marks. These are where the screws went in, so we sealed over those. Those are also still well sealed, and everything is looking good. Here's a closer look at the seams of the slide, still holding in fine. Slide is good. Of course, it's beautiful out today. Crazy to think that we spent the last 2 days in a hurricane. Here you can see this was the little scrub that we had when we did the 8-month check-in, and we just slapped some more Flex Seal. We used the Flex Seal rubber sealant and we just slapped it on there, and it's held up fine. Nothing's come off. So once you reseal it, whenever you need to do a little patch job, you can just easily paint over it and it holds up great. These right here, obviously this is not the roof sealant, but this is a piece of tape we've had on here now for 4 years, 3-4 years, covering a big gash we put in the camper, but it held up well too. Flex Seal is hurricane proof. So to put it to the real test and answer the question, can Flex Seal hold up in hurricane proof winds? At least in our experience, the answer is a definitive yes, because it kept our roof nice, protected, and sealed during Hurricane Ian. So we are really happy with how the roof reseal is holding up. Again, it's been a year. Actually, we discovered it has been a year and a half, a little more than that actually. We did it in April of 2021, and it is now October of 2022. So it has held up really well. Very happy with the roof reseal. Still going strong. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the journey.
If you found this video helpful, we would love it if you would give it a big thumbs up and click subscribe.